Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of upcoming episode of Battle Through the Heavens based on novel. So let's start. The blood bead whistled through the empty space. Finally, it smashed into Xiao Yan in front of many pairs of eyes. At that moment, everyone's hearts suddenly tightened. No one can hinder this king. The scarlet eyes of the Northern Dragon King stared intently at the point of collision. A wild laugh escaped his mouth, but this laughter had barely started when it was suddenly halted. He was just like a duck whose throat had been broken. Xiao Yan displayed a calm expression that the shocked Northern Dragon King took in with his eyes. A circular lifelike pink fire wave spread from his palm. At the middle of the fire wave was the blood bead, which contained an endless bloody scent, but at this moment, the bloody aura contained in the blood bead swiftly paled as purifying demonic lotus flame purified it. How is this possible? Just which heavenly flame is this? The Northern Dragon King immediately roared out, when he saw the blood bead slowly rotating over Xiao Yan's palm. It had not exploded. After the blood bead had landed in Xiao Yan's hands, the Northern Dragon King had sensed that his connection with it had been cut. The purifying demonic lotus flame can purify all things. Even souls can be purified by it. Xiao Yan's pink crystal-like hand slowly rose. A pink flame whistled from it and surrounded the blood bead. The bloody aura in the bead was swiftly being purified. Purifying demonic lotus flame. How can this brat actually possess the purifying demonic lotus flame? The Northern Dragon King suddenly narrowed his eyes. Even though he felt extremely furious in his heart, a chill still surged from it. The reputation of the purifying demonic lotus flame was something that the ancient Void Dragon tribe was familiar with, even though they had not traveled to the Central Plains in many years. Xiao Yan ignored the shock of the Northern Dragon King. A flame danced in his hand as he slowly lifted up. A pale pink light ball the size of a human head appeared in his hand. It was the blood ball from earlier. However, the blood aura within it had been completely purified, and Xiao Yan could sense the lingering souls within it. They were the souls of the members of the ancient dragon tribe the Northern Dragon King had devoured. The people inside are begging me to return this to you. Xiao Yan glanced at the Northern Dragon King and smiled. He flicked his finger. The human head-sized pink bead suddenly shot out. This time around, its target was the Northern Dragon King. Bastard! Shock immediately surged onto the Northern Dragon King's face after seeing this bead target him. He turned around and withdrew without uttering anything else. He was too aware of just how terrifying the energy within the dragon bead was. If he was struck by it, he would really be finished this time around. Although the Northern Dragon King pulled back quickly, the pink bead was even faster. Many human faces surfaced on the pink bead as it rapidly flew. They looked at the Northern Dragon King with all the fury they felt. A light flashed and swiftly flew toward the Northern Dragon King. After which, it caught up with the Northern Dragon King in front of many pairs of eyes, before exploding in front of his stunned shrunken eyes. Bang! A frightening energy storm wildly swept apart from the point of explosion. Wave after wave of the energy storm scattered over half of the bloody dough chi that had filled the dragon island below. Has he won? The members of the ancient Void Dragon tribe widened their mouths as they stared at the terrifying energy storm. They faced each other. A moment later, a wild joy quickly surged in their eyes. Cheers rebounded across the sky like thunder. Mr. Xiao Yan is extraordinarily strong. He is even able to purify the bloody dough chi in the dragon soul bead. Those elders from the Eastern Dragon Island revealed joyous faces from having escaped a calamity. It seemed that the heavens did not intend to eliminate their tribe. The Dragon Emperor's good friend is really a blessing to our ancient dragon tribe. Mr. Xiao Yan has repeatedly rescued our tribe. We will never be able to repay this grand favor. Elder Zhu Li fondled his beard. He immediately glanced at the first elder of the Eastern Dragon Island and the others. Mr. Xiao Yan has indeed blessed our ancient dragon tribe us with a grand favor. The first elder hesitated and nodded after noticing Elder Zhu Li's eyes. He continued in a low voice, I understand your meaning. Once our ancient dragon tribe reunites, our tribe will ally with the Sky Mansion Alliance. Elder Zhu Li only smiled and nodded after hearing this reply. Ziyang had mentioned forming an alliance with the Sky Mansion Alliance 2 years ago, but there had been many different opinions expressed back then. Hence, a decision had not been reached, but Xiao Yan had once again intervened and rescued them. Given this favor, no one could afford to object again. Ziyang sighed in relief within her heart, after hearing the conversation between Elder Zhu Li and the First Elder. These stubborn old fellows were finally willing to abandon their old pride and agree to the alliance, which would significantly benefit both parties. The energy storm, which had originated from the explosion, raged for a moment while everyone's faces were filled with joy. Only then did it slowly disappear. An unusually miserable figure appeared in front of everyone after the storm scattered. The Northern Dragon King is still alive. Many people felt somewhat startled in their hearts when they noticed that the Northern Dragon King was still hanging on to his life by a breath despite appearing extremely miserable with a relatively sluggish aura. Even such a frightening attack could not kill this fellow. This person's life was indeed incomparably strong. The body of an ancient void dragon is indeed strong. Xiao Yang studied this scene. His brow was slightly lifted. He naturally understood that the Northern Dragon King would have already been turned into dust if he had not relied on the strength of his physical body. The Northern Dragon King heavily panted as his dim and scarlet eyes cut at Xiao Yang in an extremely vicious manner. He had never expected to end up being seriously injured by Xiao Yang's hands. Xiao Yang, you better remember this. This king will definitely return and have his revenge. Although he had managed to retain his life, the Northern Dragon King was also extremely weak. He ferociously glared at Xiao Yang as he let out a furious roar. After which, his body suddenly shot backwards. It seemed like he was planning to escape. Do not allow him to escape. Ziyang immediately became anxious upon realizing he was attempting to flee. She hurriedly cried out. Last time around this fellow had managed to escape, and had caused the trouble they were dealing with now. If he were allowed to flee again, the ancient dragon clan would never be at peace. Of course, her reminder was unnecessary. Given Xiao Yang's character, he would naturally not allow a threat to escape. Hence, the fire wings on his back were flapped as soon as the Northern Dragon King moved. He immediately began to chase down the Northern Dragon King with lightning-like speed. You wish to kill this king? In your dreams. The eyes of the Northern Dragon King turned cold after Xiao Yang closed in from behind. He waved his hand and 10 figures flew from the Northern Dragon Island. After which, they thrown toward Xiao Yang like cannonballs. Xiao Yang frowned when he noticed that this Dragon King was attempting to use flesh bombs. The speed he was progressing at slowed. He was preparing to rescue those human figures when 10 7-colored lights suddenly shot from behind him. They whistled and wrapped around the 10 figures before moving them out of the blood formation. Quickly capture that fellow. Kaylin's voice echoed beside Xiao Yang's ear as she resolved the problem regarding those flesh bombs. Xiao Yang sighed in relief once these obstructions were eliminated. He did not have time to say anything more as the fire wings on his back were flapped. His speed suddenly soared. Within a couple of flashes, he had appeared above the Northern Dragon King's head. A cold laugh appeared as his crystal hand reached for the Northern Dragon King's head at a lightning-like speed in front of the Northern Dragon King's panicked eyes. This king will fight it out with all of you. A ruthlessness filled the Northern Dragon King's heart along with a panic when Xiao Yang was hot on his heels. A seal was formed with both hands before his body began to rapidly. From the looks of it, he was actually planning on self-destructing. It was naturally impossible for Xiao Yang to allow the fight to end by receiving a serious injury at this moment, so an enormous spiritual illusory figure quickly appeared on the surface of his body. The yellow spring divine anger ruthlessly smashed into the Northern Dragon King's body. The powerful spiritual attack caused the Northern Dragon King's soul to feel an intense pain, as his swelling body also shrank. The Northern Dragon King's head felt a chill after he forcefully suppressed the intense pain emitted from his soul. Xiao Yang's hand had gently landed on the top of his head. Don't kill me. You win, you win. I will not bother about the matters of the three great dragon island. In the future, I will no longer be the Northern Dragon King. The body of the Northern Dragon King stiffened when Xiao Yan's hand landed on his head. A hurried cry was emitted from his mouth. Ha ha, you really change your stance too quickly. Xiao Yan smiled and spoke as he scanned the Northern Dragon King in front of him. Let me go. I will never appear in front of any of you in the future. The Northern Dragon King raised his hands. His scarlet eyes were flickering. Not a bad idea. However, killing you will be easier. Xiao Yan grinned. The next instant, his smile was withdrawn before it turned into a chill that shook one's heart. A hot hidden force swiftly invaded the Northern Dragon King's head, turning the interior into a complete mess. Even though the Northern Dragon King's soul was swiftly vaporized into nothing by the terrifyingly high temperature of the purifying demonic lotus flame. Xiao Yan withdrew his hand while he stood in the emptiness. The body of the Northern Dragon King in front of him slowly collapsed like a pile of mud. Xiao Yan's tightly clenched fist was slowly relaxed, revealing two beads containing a bloody stench. They were both filled with a violent energy. The surroundings were completely quiet. Many pairs of eyes stared at the Northern Dragon King, whose eyes were still wide open and filled with a ruthlessness. All of them sighed. This Northern Dragon King might have been extremely ruthless, but he was still a dignified expert. However, this dignified expert would not be left with a good reputation within the ancestral books of the ancient dragon tribe. Xiao Yan's crystal-clear body gradually paled. He returned to his original form. An ashen expression appeared on his face. After which, he glanced at the Northern Dragon King's body in his hand and lifted his brows with a great interest. This body was not a bad treasure. Ziyang hurried over in a flash, while Xiao Yan was holding the corpse of the Northern Dragon King. Her eyes were complicated as she glanced at the Northern Dragon King, whose face still contained a dark, ruthless, and ferocious appearance. She softly sighed. The ancient void dragon had been battered after so many years of internal strife. The disappearance of the Dragon Emperor back then had left the tribe in turmoil, a harrowing problem. 50 to 60% of those from the Northern Dragon Island have already been killed by the Northern Dragon King. This adds to the serious damage our ancient dragon tribe has already suffered. Fortunately, the Western and Southern Islands have not suffered as many losses. This time around, the three great dragon kings have all been killed. No one will be able to stop the tribe from being united. Ziyang glanced at the dragon island below, which was still covered in a bloody aura, as she softly analyzed the situation. Xiao Yan slowly nodded. Although the Eastern Dragon Island had been victorious, the price of this victory cost Ziyang far too much. As the Dragon Emperor, she put the needs of the tribe first. Regardless of whether it was the Eastern Dragon Island, or the other three Dragon Islands, every person belonged to the ancient Void Dragon tribe. It is ultimately a good beginning. With you, a Dragon Emperor uniting the ancient Dragon clan, it is not impossible for the tribe to regain its glory. Xiao Yan was quiet for a moment. All he could do was attempt to comfort her. He knew that the strength of the ancient Void Dragon tribe was no longer what it had been in the past after experiencing the chaos from the three great dragon kings, but he could not damage Ziyang's confidence at this moment. Ziyang softly sighed. She was aware of the differences between the current ancient Void Dragon tribe and the one in the past. It should be known that the ancient dragon tribe at its peak was comparable to a superfaction like the Jiyu clan, but the experts of her tribe had either died or had scattered. It would be difficult for her to hold it together alone. There was just no telling how long it would take to recover to its peak. Ha ha, you should not remain depressed. You possess the legendary Dragon Phoenix constitution. As long as you are given sufficient time, you will be able to surpass the previous dragon emperors. At that time, recovering the ancient dragon tribe to its peak will no longer be empty words. Xiao Yan patted Ziyang's head and laughed. Ziyang smiled upon hearing these words. She braced her attention since Xiao Yan was right. Although the present situation of the ancient dragon tribe was not very good, she still possessed the legendary Dragon Phoenix bloodline. If she unleashed this bloodline to its limit, she would not be inferior to any dragon emperors. This included her missing father, whom she had never met, the previous dragon emperor. Thank you very much. If the both of you had not hurried over, a smile rose onto Ziyang's face as she replied with words of thanks. There is no need to say such courteous words to me. Xiao Yan shook his head. Suddenly, he waved the Northern Dragon King's corpse in his hand at Ziyang and asked, "Can you give this to me?" Huh? Ziyang was startled upon hearing this question. She was confused and asked, "What do you need his corpse for?" This fellow has an unbelievable constitution. He has even been tempered by the transforming dragon demon formation, and is now frighteningly strong. If he can be refined into a puppet, it would be an extremely strong one. Xiao Yang hesitated and explained. The sky demon puppets he owned had been left in the star realm as guards. The ingredients that were used to refine them limited the growth of the sky demon puppet to the Dozun class. It was impossible for them to advance any further. A helper of that strength was completely useless to the current Xiao Yang. Hence, he had come up with the idea of refining the Northern Dragon King's corpse into a puppet. After all, the Northern Dragon King had already died and could only be used as trash. According to the rules, strong ancient dragons are normally buried within the dragon tomb. Ziyang knit her brows and glanced at Xiao Yang's helpless face. However, you have lent a hand to our tribe this time around, and it is only right for you to ask for reward. Currently, those from the tribe hate this person. If I were to really bring him back, I don't think he would be allowed to be buried in the dragon tomb. You can take his body if you have a need for it. Ha ha, in that case, I will thank your majesty, the dragon emperor. Xiao Yang smiled and replied after listening to this girl's official response. Ziyang laughed in a delicate voice, "The both of you should rest on the Eastern Dragon Island for now. The 3 great dragon kings have already been killed. I will need to start the preparations for reorganizing the 4 great dragon islands." Xiao Yang smiled and nodded. There was still something he needed to do within this empty realm. In any case, he had no pressing matters at this moment. He would refine this puppet before leaving. In the future, the puppet would be a good helper when he fought against others. Ziyang chatted with Xiao Yang for a moment after he nodded. After which, she organized the experts within the tribe and then entered the Northern Dragon Island after the bloody Do Chi scattered. They were going to find the tribe members who had luckily survived. After the 3 great dragon kings were killed, the ancient Void Dragon tribe, which had been dealing with serious internal strife, finally cleared all obstacles. The 4 great dragon islands ceased voicing any objections, because of Ziyang's title as the Dragon Emperor. The Northern Dragon King had slaughtered the members of the tribe, and had chilled the hearts of all the ancient Void Dragons. Naturally, no one was furious over his death. The Western and Southern Dragon Kings had both perished to the hands of the Northern Dragon King. This news would undoubtedly make the Northern Dragon King more hated. With the urging from so many factors, the unification of the 4 great dragon islands was unexpectedly smooth. The 4 great dragon islands that floated in the empty realm were merged together with the help of the combined might of many of the tribe experts. From this moment on, the ancient Void Dragon tribe could finally be considered reunified. In the future, there would no longer be 4 great dragon islands. There would only be 1 ancient dragon island. While the ancient Void Dragon tribe was extremely busy with the unification process, Xiao Yang and Kaylin chose to remain on the dragon island. Xiao Yang rested for a couple of days and returned to his peak condition. This time around, the aim of his retreat was to refine a puppet using the body of the Northern Dragon King. The strength of the Northern Dragon King, when he was alive, had almost reached the 6th star of the Doxing class. Xiao Yang had become excited, because the physical body of this king was many times stronger than an ordinary 6-star Doxing. This body was the best material to refine a puppet with. If it could be successfully refined, it would undoubtedly be a great help to Xiao Yang. This puppet would be extremely important to both him and the Sky Mansion Alliance. Xiao Yang's expression was solemn as he stood in a chamber. The air in front of him contained hundreds of objects that were flickering with mysterious glows. These glowing objects were the ingredients needed to refine a puppet. A top-quality body like the Northern Dragon King was extremely rare, so Xiao Yan naturally needed to use the best ingredients in order to refine this body. Xiao Yan's eyes carefully swept over those ingredients in front of him. He verified that everything was present before nodding with satisfaction. He had rummaged through the stores of the Dragon Island in order to collect these ingredients. Just thinking of the pained eyes of the warehouse guarding elder caused Xiao Yang to involuntarily laugh out loud. Xiao Yang only waved his hand after completing his check. A figure, which was many times stronger than an ordinary person, floated in front of him. This was the main ingredient required to refine the puppet, the body of the Northern Dragon King. The current Northern Dragon King's eyes were both tightly shut. His expression was pale and void of life. However, his body was still tense. It was impossible to leave behind a scar even if one hacked at it with a knife. The physical body of this Dragon King had already been strengthened to a frightening level. At the very least, Xiao Yang admitted he was no match for it. The ancient Void Dragon tribe was indeed blessed by a strong physical body. Xiao Yang swept his eyes over the Northern Dragon King's head. Those three faces still appeared a little ferocious at this moment. He involuntarily shook his head. The reason this person's physical body was so strong was because he had devoured the Western and Southern Dragon King's blood and flesh. Xiao Yang widened his mouth after withdrawing his gaze. A cluster of pink flames was spat out of his mouth. After which, they swelled with the wind and turned into a huge furnace in the air. Subsequently, he waved his hand and threw the body of the Northern Dragon King into the furnace. Sizzle sizzle. The skin of the Northern Dragon King erupted with a sizzling sound the moment the Northern Dragon King's body entered the fire cauldron. Strands of blood continued to flow out before vanishing into nothing because of the high temperature. Xiao Yang was expressionless as this blood disappeared. He had refined a puppet in the past and naturally understood that this was a tempering process. After being refined by his heavenly flame, the body of the Northern Dragon King would become even more terrifying. This tempering process might appear simple, but it lasted for a total of 10 days. Xiao Yang did not rest during this period, as he continued to use the purifying demonic lotus flame to grill the Northern Dragon King's body. After 10 days of grilling, the originally strong body of the Northern Dragon King seemed to have shrunk by 3 layers. Even though his body had shrank, it still appeared a little stronger than an ordinary person. Xiao Yang calmly studied the Northern Dragon King's body, which seemed like black metal, from outside of the cauldron. Even though no do-chi surrounded it, the body's glaring appearance was still incomparable. The blood within the body had been grilled until it has entered all the muscles and bones. This body will really be a perfect killing machine. Xiao Yang smiled as he examined the black body, which radiated a pressure. He smiled and even his black eyes contained a strange smile. He immediately waved his hand and the purifying demonic lotus flame that had been wrapped around the body slowly paled. Bang! The moment that the purifying demonic lotus flame completely vanished, the Northern Dragon King suddenly opened his tightly shut eyes within the fire cauldron. A familiar pair of scarlet eyes, belonging to the Northern Dragon King appeared and a strange sinister laugh followed. Xiao Yang, thank you for helping this king complete this temperament. In order to thank you, I shall show you just how frightening this body is. TSK, if you need someone to blame it on your arrogance in merely scattering this king's soul. Our ancient void dragon's body is our soul and our soul is our body. The strong body that was covered in a black metal-like luster within the fire cauldron wildly laughed at the sky. A punch was thrown forward and caused the fire cauldron to collapse. His large hand reached for Xiao Yang. The dead Northern Dragon King was revived. A sharp, frightening wind whistled through the chamber. The black metal-like fist of the Northern Dragon King was just like the sickle of a death god, as it mercilessly shot toward Xiao Yang's head. This sudden unexpected change would have caused anyone else to turn pale in shock, but the smile on the face of that skinny figure standing in front of the fire cauldron did not disappear. Just glanced at the Northern Dragon King, who had broken free from the cauldron, and extended his finger before pressing it down from some distance away. Bang! After Xiao Yang pressed his finger down, the Northern Dragon King, who was rushing over, suddenly stiffened. Wave after wave of pink flames suddenly erupted from his body without warning. They wrapped around his body before invading from all possible entrances. They swiftly swarmed into the Northern Dragon King's head before wrapping around the lingering soul that was controlling his body. Bastard, what have you done to his king? The sudden unexpected change caused the Northern Dragon King to feel shocked and furious. He let out a stern roar. Northern Dragon King, you have overestimated yourself by attempting to use a technique that hides your soul in front of me. Xiao Yan merely smiled as the Northern Dragon King let out a shocked and furious roar. His spiritual strength was many times stronger than this Northern Dragon King. How could he make a simple mistake like missing a soul fragment? However, what had just occurred was what he had hoped would happen. Although a body refined by an ordinary refinement method became tougher and became immune to pain, a puppet was ultimately only a puppet. It did not possess its own fighting experience. Xiao Yan was naturally unwilling to use the Northern Dragon King's body to refine such a basic puppet. With his current strength, he would refine the best puppet he could since he wished to refine one. A perfect puppet not only required a metal-like body and an immunity to pain, it also required a great fighting experience and many killing methods. However, a puppet was normally controlled by its owner. If the owner ignored it, the puppet would become dull regardless of how strong it was. This type of puppet was far from being perfect. In order to resolve this weakness, one needed to construct the puppet with as much intelligence, or rather battle experience, as possible. The Northern Dragon King had fought in an uncountable number of battles throughout his life. He was an extremely experienced fighter. As long as his soul fragment was refined and merged with the puppet that would be formed would truly become a killing machine. Back then, Xiao Yan had shattered the soul of the Northern Dragon King, but he had left this soul fragment hidden within the Northern Dragon King's body alone. This soul fragment had inherited the viciousness of the Northern Dragon King. It had been hiding during this period of time, and had only rose to cause trouble after Xiao Yan had tempered the body until it was extremely strong. Unfortunately, this remnant soul was unaware that this was a trap to lure him out. Only by merging this soul fragment with this body would the puppet be perfect. I have finally found you. Xiao Yan glanced at the Northern Dragon King, who had been surrounded by a pink flame, and faintly smiled. He could sense that the heavenly flame had surrounded the Northern Dragon King's remaining soul. Don't. The Northern Dragon King seemed to have detected something at this moment. Shock flashed across his eyes. Before he could finish speaking, however, Xiao Yan had indifferently waved his hand. The purifying demonic lotus flame surged forward and swallowed the soul fragment like a tornado. Its terrifyingly high temperature refined it within a couple of minutes. After the Northern Dragon King's final soul fragment was refined, a somewhat illusory air flow suddenly appeared within the purifying demonic lotus flame. After which, this air flow slowly drifted under Xiao Yan's control before merging with the head of the puppet. After the illusory flow entered the Northern Dragon King's head, the hollow eyes of the puppet gradually revealed a cold golden luster. This luster was set off by the puppet's black metal-like body. Looking from a distance, it appeared extremely majestic and emanated a great deterrence. Moreover, its originally somewhat stiff body gradually replaced. This loosening was not a form of weakness. Instead, it hid the puppet's frightening strength, which could erupt at a moment's notice, in a place where one's eyes could not reach, allowing the puppet to be more effective when it erupted and killed. Xiao Yan sighed in relief as he observed the black metal figure standing in front of him. He flicked his finger. A drop of essence blood shot out of his finger. Finally, it landed on the puppet's brow before transforming into a faint blood seal. A mental connection was also formed when seal appeared. In the future, you shall be called Northern King. That strong-looking black figure's face moved after hearing Xiao Yan's words. Finally, an emotionless hoarse voice was slowly emitted from its mouth. Understood, Master. This puppet was different from those sky demon puppets in the past. The sky demon puppets did not possess an intelligence. They needed to be controlled by people when fighting others. However, this Northern King would automatically attack with just a thought from Xiao Yan. Moreover, it would not look sluggish like a regular puppet would when fighting against others. It appeared as though it was no different than if the Northern Dragon King had been revived. The current Northern King should be comparable to a 5-star Do Xing. Xiao Yan fondled his chin. His eyes continued to observe the Northern King. A puppet that could match a 5-star Do Xing. There was no telling just how much of a commotion such news would stir if it spread. However, Xiao Yang still felt a little unsatisfied. The Northern Dragon King had vaguely reached the 6th star of the Do Xing class, and with the unusually strong body of the Northern Dragon King, the limit of this puppet should be higher. A puppet is unable to unleash Do Qi. It completely relies on the strength of its physical body when attacking. With the current physical body of the Northern King, refining it with the purifying demonic lotus flame would not do much. In the past, the Earth Demon puppet had relied on absorbing lightning in order to raise its strength. Xiao Yang had used a similar refinement method for this puppet, and had refined some special ingredients into the Northern King's body. In other words, the current Northern King would possess the ability to absorb lightning. Moreover, the limit of this absorption was far from what those Sky Demon puppets in the past could compare with. Hence, the only thing he needed to consider was where he could find a sufficient lightning strength. If he were to rely on refining medicinal pills to attract pill lightning, Xiao Yang would not be able to break the Northern King through to the 6th star of the Do Xing class even if he worked himself to death. Perhaps it is time to head to that place. Xiao Yang mused for a moment before he softly laughed. He did not remain any longer, as he turned around and walked out of the chamber. The Northern King followed close behind him like a shadow. Xiao Yang immediately came across Kaylin in the courtyard after exiting the quiet room. She also turned her head after detecting him. A stunned expression flashed across her eyes when she saw the Northern King behind Xiao Yang. The body of the Northern Dragon King had undergone a drastic change after the purifying demonic lotus flame had refined it for over 10 days. With its black metallic-like body, no one would recognize it as the infamous Northern Dragon King of the ancient Void Dragon tribe with just a glance. The refinement was a success. Xiao Yang nodded. He did not remain for long. After briefly explaining the situation to Cai Lin, he led the Northern King into the air and swiftly rushed into the empty realm outside of the Dragon Island. Rumble. The low and deep roar of thunder echoed in the distance within the dark, empty realm. If one swept one's eyes around, one would find a glowing silver light near the edge of the darkness, where huge thunderbolts crazily whistled by like huge dragons. Xiao Yang's body remained suspended in the realm. His eyes swept over the extremely huge lightning pool in front of him. This place was where he had refined the Sky Demon puppets back then, and also where he had met the headmaster of the Inner Academy, Mang Qian Kai from the Lei clan, for the first time. At that time, Mang Qian Kai had appeared extremely miserable since he was being chased by those strange black lightning beings. At that time, Xiao Yang only knew that those black lightnings were terrifying and that he could not touch them. This time around, his target were those black lightning beings, who had forced Mang Qian Kai to flee in horror back then. He needed to rely on the lightning strength of this lightning pool in order to raise the strength of the Northern King to a truly perfect level. Let's go. His arc-black pupils observed the thunderbolts surging within the lightning pool. Xiao Yang faintly smiled as his body took the lead to fly forward. The Northern King's black body followed close behind him. Back then, Xiao Yang had needed to be extremely careful when he had entered the lightning pool of the empty realm. He had been afraid of attracting tens of thousands of lightning strikes at the same time, but now he appeared quite at ease in this strange region that was filled with a frightening strength. His body steadily floated through the lightning pool. The wildly flashing thunderbolts would suddenly come to a halt when they were still hundreds of feet from Xiao Yang before turning tail and running with some panic. They were able to detect a relatively frightening existence within the somewhat strong body. Xiao Yang did not pause along the way. He rushed to the deepest part of the lightning pool. With the purifying demonic lotus flame protecting his body, the lightning strength did not dare to charge forward. From the looks of it, this third-ranked heavenly flame did live up to its reputation. The lightning pool of the empty realm was extremely vast, but with Xiao Yang's speed, He had reached the deepest part within less than 10 minutes. No wonder even Headmaster Mang Qian Kai could only turn around and flee back then. Xiao Yan glanced at his dim surroundings after reaching the deep regions. He then shifted his eyes to examine a black lightning cluster, which appeared like a huge dragon as it slowly wiggled within the darkness. Even with his current strength, his expression involuntarily became grave. The grave expression lasted for a moment before Xiao Yang slowly sighed. Some joy rose onto his face. If the Northern King absorbed this lightning, it would be able to reach a perfect level. At that time, it could even fight against an elite 6-star Do Xing. This kind of help would be very useful to Xiao Yang. This video will end here.